The Intolerable Acts of 1774. The reporter is Caitlin Bindle. The loyalist is Madison Coe. The patriot is Zachary Hinkle. Hello, I'm Caitlin, and I'm reporting on the Intolerable Acts and the different viewpoints on them. Is this just a horrible mistake or the best thing that's ever happened? The Boston Tea Party, taking place on December 16, 1773, was when some rebellious Bostonians decided to dress up as Indians and take over 3 ships full of tea. They decided to dump all the tea, around over 10,000 pounds of tea, into the Boston Harbor. The King of England decided to punish them by making the Intolerable Acts of 1774 to try and keep them loyal. I'm going to be asking questions to a patriot and a loyalist, Zachary and Madison Coe. Hello, how would you describe your feelings about the acts passed, Zachary?
The Boston Tea Party was the day that helped give the people who are tired of taxes and want no taxation without representation some confidence and more hope in America, and to stand up for the freedom from the power-hungry King of England. When this event happened, the king didn't force consequences on Boston, mainly by having Parliament pass the Intolerable Acts. The Boston Harbor Act made sure that there were no ships passing in and out of the harbor, all except the military ones, until the tea destroyed was paid for. This act hurt many because it shut down trading with other countries and cut lots of people's income into smaller amounts from heavy taxes and no trade. Another act is the Parliament passed with the Massachusetts Government Act, which prevented town meetings and elections of town officials. This meant that nobody could gather together for any kind of meeting unless approved. We weren't allowed to discuss matters that are hurting our community, or even have the right to elect who we think will do good to the colonies. The king thought he would stop the rebellion, but he was wrong. He only started a fire in our hearts. The Administrative Justice Act only made the rebellion worse because it took away many innocent people who the military thought was fit to go to trial if suspected for the rebellion to other colonies in Great Britain. Many taken were innocent and taken just because of their opinions and not for actions. When the Courting Act was made, it made many furious because it allowed the military personnel to take over people's homes so they could provide with food, shelter, bedding, and drinks. The resources taken hurt many who barely had enough themselves and made patriots even matter. Extending the boundaries of the Quebec, ensuring religious freedom in Canadian Catholics, the Quebec Act was made so they prevented the colonists to expand on the western frontiers and prohibited their rights to the land and that religion. The king made all these acts so he could keep his power and not have anyone overrule him. These all took our rights away and punished us so would become loyal. Really, it just sparked the beginning of a big rebellion. I'm a patriot.
Hi, Madison. What is your take on the Intolerable Acts, and how do they affect you and the people around you?
To speak the truth, I would say that the 5 acts passed are agreeable since they are to punish us for the rebellious people going against the laws of the king. Starting with the Boston Port Act, I would say it suited everyone the best because it helped show that the king was the one in charge, and not them. Closing the port was economically harmful, but it was an act that could help restore order in the colonies. Ruining the tea is wasteful and didn't help anything, so the people should have to pay for their mistakes. The Massachusetts Government Act didn't allow for anyone to have meetings or choose their own town officials, allowing it to keep citizens safe from people meeting up to plan rebellions. Without this act, many more rebellions could take place, and this would harm many people, including the king. Another act that kept the citizens safe from harm was the Administrative Justice Act, which allowed the military to take away anybody that was rebellious and send them to trial in either Great Britain or in Canada. With less and less patriots, it was safer for the colonists because we had people there who followed the rules of the king. The Quartering Act was a generous rule that provided the military to have food, drinks, bedding, shelter whenever they needed by the colonists. This act helps the men who work hard and need some help with the necessities, making the king very citizens safe from people meeting up to plan rebellions. Without this act, many more rebellions could take place, and this would harm many people, including the king. Another act that kept the citizens safe from harm was the Administrative Justice Act, which allowed the military to take away anybody that was rebellious and send them to trial in either Great Britain or in Canada. With less and less patriots, it was safer for the colonists because we had people there who followed the rules of the king. The Quartering Act was a generous rule that provided the military to have food, drinks, bedding, shelter whenever they needed by the colonists. This act helps the men who work hard and need some help with the necessities, making the king very thoughtful. Without this, many men wouldn't have those items. Last is the Quebec Act, to where the boundaries of Quebec could be extended and made sure that there was religious freedom for the Catholic Canadians. This act formed an alliance with the Canadians and was helpful in gaining more loyalists to the King of England. Without the king, England would probably be destroyed or very weak at least. Our king is strong and should maintain to keep us in line to make America better.
Well, thank you guys for sharing your thoughts about the Intolerable Acts of 1774. Have a good day.